Chapter 17. Reframing. In many cases, the way in which a problem is framed or perceived actually constitutes the problem itself. Many problems are specters, distorted interpretations of a negatively conditioned mind. The way we look at a problem is often the problem. Our frame of reference, or simply frame, is a lens through which we interpret the world, a filtering system comprised of our ingrained beliefs and values. Rather than assigning meaning to events impartially, we make interpretations based on our life's experience. We do not see things as they are, we see them as we are. The Talmud. In light of this fact, it is rational to assume that if we redefine our beliefs, then our frame of reference must change. For example, we have reframed. Viewing the world through different frames of reference is similar to viewing it through different colored spectacles. Each lens changes our perspective. Take the following example from my own experience. Example: Paul's alcoholism. In the early days of sobriety, I moped around, contemplating the years I'd wasted through drinking destructively. I was jealous of everything and everybody. Many of my friends had bought houses and nice cars, got married, and had children. But alcoholism had deprived me of all these niceties. In those days, I viewed alcoholism as the problem that had destroyed my life. On many occasions, this poverty thinking drove me back to the bottle. Then, in 1996, after a few years of sobriety, I had a profound spiritual experience that radically changed my way of thinking. Rather than viewing my drinking years as a waste of life, I recognized the potential benefits of my unique experiences. The experience I gained from my abusive drinking enabled me to understand, firsthand, the depth of the problem facing people with an alcohol habit. Subsequently, I became extremely curious and developed a thirst for literature of a psychological and spiritual nature. In addition, I attended workshops all over the country, took a degree in psychology, and trained for many years in different aspects of therapy. My primary objective was to investigate the causes of people becoming destructive and devise an antidote. Suddenly, a great sense of purpose was injected back into my life. As I applied all that I'd learned psychologically and spiritually to my own life, I grew from strength to strength. I became enlightened and fulfilled. Every day was a welcome adventure. I documented the techniques I'd used for self-development and the benefits I'd received. And my work culminated in the material you are reading right now. Today, I travel the country, giving talks and holding seminars. I also travel to write in exotic places, which fill me with inspiration. I am now a contented human being who views life as a field of infinite possibilities. So, what changed? What brought about this radical transformation? The answer can be summed up in one word: purpose. I realized that my perception of the past was impeding my life, but this perception was only an interpretation, and therefore open to change. I had a choice: continue to believe that my drinking destroyed my life, or reinterpret the experience and view it as the catalyst that defined my future fulfillment. I chose the latter and viewed my trauma as the springboard that hurtled me into a fourth dimension of existence. The valuable lesson I learned from this experience was as follows. The way in which we view a problem is often the only problem. Redefining the nature of our experience is all that's needed to remove what we perceive to be great obstacles. The core belief that gave rise to my initial frame of reference, for example, my negative outlook, was that there was a critical period in life in which people secure employment, buy a house, find a partner, and have children. If you miss this window of opportunity, then you are destined to fail and suffer. The opportunity will never represent itself. The unspoken assumptions here are: life is preordained to follow a rigid curriculum, and if you fail to grasp the window of opportunity, then you are doomed to a desolate wasteland of despair. Getting a job, finding a partner, buying a house, and having children is the only way to gain happiness and contentment. When I revised my beliefs and values and reframed the situation, I realized that happiness and contentment came in a multitude of forms. The way my ultimate happiness eventually manifested was through my connecting with my life's purpose. If I hadn't experienced alcoholism, I probably would have never found my purpose. By reframing my past in this way, I transformed my perceived misfortunes into my greatest assets and heeded the words of George Bernard Shaw. People are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. I don't believe in circumstances. The people who get on in this world are the people who get up and look for the circumstances they want. And if they can't find them, make them. George Bernard Shaw. Exercise. Reframing. To reframe any given situation, disassociate. Step back and become aware of all facets. Take note of what is being said and done. Take the position of the observer. Consider the beliefs and values that comprise the frame through which reality is being created. Understand the unspoken assumptions. Consider alternative lenses. Take different perspectives. Challenge the beliefs that underpin the negative frame. Look through another frame and describe what you see. Change the attributes of the frame to reverse assumed meanings. For example, a problem becomes a challenge. A challenge becomes an opportunity. A weakness becomes a strength. An impossibility becomes a probability. Fear becomes an opportunity to display courage. Unkindness becomes a lack of understanding. A deficit becomes your greatest asset. Evoke the archetype of the hanged man. This character is sometimes depicted in the tarot deck as Odin, who hung on the living world tree, Yggdrasil, and received the runes, ancient alphabets often used for divination. Although he appears to be in a compromising position, upside down, he oozes serenity and revels in the opportunity to view life from different perspectives. Hold counsel with the wise witness within you. Allow other frames to unfold from the wisdom of your indwelling divinity. Harness your true potential. Like water, become fluid and flexible, and find the easiest route around any obstacle.